welcome back to the Bows and Beers podcast. This is the second episode of our little mini Dearne Valley archery field thing series that we're doing on the lead up to this weekend's Dearne Valley. This should be coming out before we actually go and shoot it, if I can edit it in time, which I should be able to. I'm once again joined by my co-hosts, Adam Ravenscroft.
Good morning.
And Carl Richards.
Good twilight.
In this little episode, we're going to talk about the format of field archery and how kind of the ranking or final scoring works in this instance, because we're not international. So I'm the least experienced field archer, obviously. I think I've shot 4 or 5 field shoots in my life. So I'm going to take a little bit of a backseat because I know a little bit, not enough. So it's mainly going to be me sitting here nodding, going, "Yep, that's right." So if you just want to run through how the format of a tournament day in field archery works, or tournament weekend, is probably a bit more apt, then take it away, chaps.
Nowadays, most places have split it up now into 2 days of mixed rounds, so 24 mixed targets, 12 marked, 12 unmarked. It brings it into line with how they do it on the continent, in France and all them places. A lot of Europe. Been doing it that way for years. If you go to an international, Europeans, Worlds, it's always marked day, unmarked day, 24 marked, 24 unmarked. They put pay to that during COVID so that they could put 1 day shoots on rather than having to put weekend shoots on. So now the very, very few places do 24 marked, 24 unmarked weekends. So if you want to get into it, you can just go down and do 1 day. You'll get a little bit of marked, you'll get a little bit of unmarked. You get a taste of what it is.
So, Chad, I know you say unmarked and marked. Now, every time I've gone around a field course, I've never kind of followed this one. That you've got so many targets at so many different distances, and so many, or the face size, each face size is used so many times.
Yeah.
Is that just an even split across the day of all the different face sizes? Because what we've got a 20 centimetre face, so kind of what we shoot indoors. A 40 centimetre face. No, 20 centimetres face is smaller than what we shoot indoors, isn't it?
Yeah, it's freaking tiny would be the word I would use to describe it.
Yeah, so the gold is like the size of the 10 ring on a...
Yeah, so WA18 is shot in a 40 centimetre face.
But the gold on your 20 centimetre face is the same size as a 10 on a 40 centimetre face.
So then you've got the 6 that's inside that. So 2 centimetres of gold.
Yeah, then we've got a 40 centimetre face, 60 centimetre face, and an 80 centimetre face.
Yeah. So if you do it on a mixed day, you'll have 3 targets at each face unmarked and 3 targets at each face marked. And there will be a guideline of what distances they have to use. Unmarked, it's just a range. It goes between the range. They can stick it wherever they want. 31, 32, 33, 34 metres, whereas the marked ones will always be in solid numbers, so 30 or 35 or 20 or 25. It'll always be in increments of 5 metres if it's marked. You just walk up to the peg. If there's no numbers on the peg, it's unmarked. If there's a number on the peg, that's the distance that you're shooting.
As long as it's been measured out, right?
Well, yeah.
How many times have you come up to a peg and it's not measured right? No, we won't go down that
See, I've got quite lucky in that. I have been on a course where my other half has had a meltdown because she was shooting what it said was a 40-metre target and it was actually a 45-metre target, and the judges decided to just change it. And I heard her screaming from the other side of the course.
The judges decided to change it. What? They just decided to move the boss back, move the peg back?
Oh, yeah, that peg's in the wrong place. We'll move that. You can't move it. We've already had 7 groups go through. You've got to leave
Wow.
it. You've messed the course up. You've got to leave it, or you invalidate the shoot.
Yeah.
Hence why most judges and field crew now set up on a Friday. So all your judges or all your field crew will be there Friday night setting up, checking the distances of the targets, checking where the pegs are. So it's a lot of work to put on a field shoot, considering for a target shoot, everything can be measured out the morning of. Once it's measured out, you just leave it. Whereas the field shoot, if you do a 2-day field shoot, they've got to move the pegs on the second day. So it's got to be done again. Their Saturday is very, very long.
Yeah, and I mean we have to give them recognition for that, because without the judges, without the people setting up these courses, we have nothing to shoot. So respect to them. They put a lot of time and thought into these courses as well, don't they?
Yeah. So if you're a member of a target club, on your committee, you'll have a tournament organizer. For a field club, they'll have tournament organisers and course layers. And the job for the course layer is to trick you. I think that's the biggest, the main way I can put it is use what ground they've got. It might not be a lot of up and down, but they might have. There's a lot of courses in England that use light and dark, dead ground. Exmouth that are holding the All British this year are buggers for using dead ground. They've caught me out a couple of times. Their light and dark is absolutely stupid.
So what you're saying is a challenger versus gladiator, and gladiator won.
Yeah. What you want to come up against a good course layer. Pentraff have got a couple of really good course layers. The guys at Overton are second to none at course laying. A lot of people will say they've got it easy because they've got really good grounds, but you still need to know how to lay a course out to make the most of what ground you've got.
But like you say, they're trying to beat you. They want you to make it as hard as hard without ruining your day. But they're trying to challenge you to be the best. It's not.
Yeah, they want you to walk off that course having earned your 400 score, not having given you the 400 score.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, when you get a good score on courses like that, it just makes it feel that much better. You know what I mean? You come off floating.
Yeah, definitely. It's gone quiet.
Hear a pin drop. So obviously, field tournaments tend to be run over 2 days. As you say, some are two mixed days, some are marked, then unmarked. Controversial. What's your favourite day between marked and unmarked?
I don't know if I could. I mean, as a target archer, it's great to be told the distance, but even when you're told the distance, if you go over to somewhere with a good hill to it, you're told a distance, and that distance you're trying to work out if it is that distance or if it's 5 meters shorter that you need to set your sight. So, but the marked day is always a longer distance target than the unmarked day. So, as much as hard work as it is to measure up on an unmarked day, it's a shorter shot. So, in some respects, the shot's easier. The second day or the marked shots, they're that longer distance, and it's a challenge for you.
Yeah, as much as I hate unmarked, and I can't express how much I hate unmarked. If I've done my homework and I'm prepared and I turn up and I have a good day at unmarked, I will always enjoy it more than it's easier. Do you know what I mean? Once you've figured out that distance, everything's 5 meters closer. Your scores can be exponentially higher because it's that much closer. Your groups are that much better. My first 400 was on an unmarked course. You'll always find that you tend to score better on the unmarked, even though it's unmarked. You score better on the unmarked than the marked.
Do you know, we all have a bit of a whine and a moan about the unmarked days, and you're having to stand there and measure. if you've ever tried to stand there and measure a target face, try doing it through just down your target club, and your strength just improves so much because you're no longer just trying to aim at the middle of a target. You're trying to measure the target. You're trying to look at 2 points on the target, and you've got to hold it still. You've got to be thinking about it. You've got to, I've used to have days where I went down the club and just working on measuring, and I wouldn't shoot an arrow all session, and my arms were ready to flop. They were destroyed because you stood there for 20 seconds just trying to measure a shot, and then you draw down, and you're second guessing yourself and questioning it. So you'll pull up and do exactly the same again, and the burn going through your arms can be terrible, especially if it's windy or if it's an awkward shot or something, and you're really trying to focus on it. It puts so much strength through you. It really does.
Nothing worse than second guessing yourself on a target face.
On a,
I know that face size, I know that face size, and then you measure it and you look at it and go, it can't be that far. Can't be that far. So I must have face size wrong, and you change face size and you missed the bloody paper.
So when you say second guessing yourself, are you second guessing yourself with your measurement or in your judging of a face size?
It's always a judging of the face size.
You're talking. So for those that haven't done field, this is between a 60 centimetre and 80 centimetre. Because a bunny's easy. You've got 12 faces on the.
12 faces on the target, haven't you, for a bunny? So you know it's a bloody bunny. Same with a 40 centimetre.
You've got 12 faces on the target.
No, 4 pieces of paper. They just happen to have 3 circles.
4 pieces of paper with 3 circles on. That's 12 targets. 12 spots on the butt. Then you've got your 40 centimetre, which is 4 faces. But yeah, like you say, the 80 centimetre far away versus a 60 centimetre, it hits that crossover point, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Where you can't really tell whether it's one or the other, and you have to go through other trickery to try and work it out, don't you?
Yeah, trying to read ground, but like I say, good course layer won't give you the ground to read.
Yeah.
You'll try and figure out. A lot of people do some kind of weird, like side to side wobble to try and figure out where the middle point is, and well, if the middle point's there, then it's got to be double that, and it's like you're talking voodoo. A lot of people go out there and just look at the target and go, "Well, that's 25 meters away." And it's like you voodoo. What? How do you know that? It's like you've got built-in rangefinder. What the fuck?
Chad, if you ever see me wobbling side to side, it's not me trying to work out the ground.
Are you drunk too much?
I'm either knackered or I can't stand up straight, or I'm drunk. It's nothing to do with working out the ground. No, okay. So the simple ones that I've used in the past here, and that people have discussed about, is one: if you're looking at these faces, arrow hole size. An arrow in a 60 centimetre, an arrow hole in a 60 centimetre face looks bigger than an 80 centimetre face. An 80 centimetre face, arrow holes look small. The other giveaway is if you can see a group of arrows at the top and in the middle, then people have thought that the distance is longer than it is. And if they're at the bottom and in the middle, then people have thought it's shorter than it is.
Yeah.
Simple way.
One of my favourites that managed to save me was in Overton last year was the fact that they used the same target pins the entire course.
Oh, yeah.
The same ones.
Fall into that though.
No, don't rely on it. But if you notice that they are all the same, it saved me on. I think it was 3 or 4 on the unmarked day where I just managed to go. That's a 60. It's not an 80.
I'm pretty sure Exmouth do it. I know one of the clubs in Northern Ireland do it, and I'm pretty sure a couple of clubs in Ireland do it, where they make their own target pins and they scale them. So the target pins look exactly the same in a 60 centimetre face as they do in an 80 centimetre face.
That is brilliant. I mean, round of applause for that one.
Brilliantly evil.
The one thing that has helped me out is that I invested in some very, very expensive binos. Through my binos, I can make out the words in the bottom corners of the targets on a 60 centimetre face.
And he still gets it wrong.
On an 80 centimetre face, I can see where the words are, but it's just I can just see the blur of it. It doesn't clear up at an 80 centimetre face. And yes, I still get them wrong. What else we got?
Next one. Go on. I'll go this one, Dylan. So, best field course that you've gone to.
Oh, I had that up earlier. You go first.
Oh,
Do you want me to go first? Because I've only done 2.
So you go on, Dylan. Tell us
I
about
have a
your
50-50 here. So we have a little show notes, and I wrote down earlier: score, the challenge level, and the surroundings. I'm going to go backwards. The surroundings, one of the nicest and most beautiful course I've ever been on was Overton. You're up on the Warrens, and it is, you can see for miles. It's stunning. It helped it was summer and sunny for most of it, but it was a stunning course. Every single shot, even in the woods, just looked picturesque. Challenge-wise, was Overton. As my first field shoot back in 5 years, anything was going to be a challenge. I could have went around my target club and it probably would have been a challenge. And score-wise was probably back when I was a junior. We did our county champs in a place called Netherwhitton. It's about an hour north of us. But that was quite a good score back in the day for me and enjoyable. We are hopefully going to run that again this year if we can get the volunteers to actually go and set it out and maintain it, which I think would be quite nice because I don't think we haven't had a field champ in 6 years. I've still got the junior boy trophy. So, of the two of them, I've got to say Overton is my favourite, but I am hoping we get Netherwhitton back this year.
Nice. But you're going to do some more field shooting this year. So you're going to have more
Hopefully.
places to compare
I've
against.
never been to Dearne, so this is going to be a new experience. I've never been to Exmouth, which is a new experience. The only other field I've done target-wise is Aoife at Merlin, and I loved that. That was a brilliant day.
See, the last time I remember shooting at Dearne, I think I've only ever shot at Dearne once before, and when I did that, there was snow on the ground, and it was bloody cold. So field shoots, obviously I've done feature field or WA field. I've done 3DA, but we're not really counting 3D. You can't really compare 3DA field against target field. I've done the Aoife stuff, mainly going around places like Merlin. Back in the day, I went around a few other courses, but I've not done many courses on Aoife. And then done Pro Series, which did a few in Europe as well as the 2 in Wales. And I mean, they're like Aoife on steroids. You know, they're a real mean Aoife round, and they were really enjoyable. But my one that I always remember is my first field shoot at Pentraff, and it was just nice weather. It was a nice weekend and stuff. I can't remember my scores back then. I mean, we must be talking 15 years ago, nearly, that I did my first field shoot around Pentraff. So it's a bit of a memory. But I believe that the weather was good. Like you say, the views were stunning from at the top of the hill. Apart from, I think at some point across the weekend, because it was a dry weekend, or it'd been quite dry recently, the kids had set light to the field over the other side of the hill. So that was an interesting one to watch it slowly go brown over the day. It wasn't exactly long growth, but it was enough that it just slowly went across. But yeah, I mean, there was a guy called Sim Bob that still shoots, and if you're in the field scene, you'll know Sim. He would set out a course. He loved the challenge of a course, and he set out some real nice courses. And you come off it, and it's like, yeah, I've had to work for that. And like Chad says, when you get a score that you've worked for, and I had nothing to compare back in that day. But it was a good day's work. So yeah, definitely Pentref was always one of my favourites. I've never done Exmouth. I don't really think I've gone round that many WA courses. I'm trying to think of there was one. Is it Carlisle Way that I was meant to go to years ago, and I ended up. What was that?
Kendall.
Pendle, that's the job. I was meant to go that weekend, but ended up having to work. And you and Christy went up, didn't you, Chad?
Yeah, I took your wife away.
Yeah. I had a nice peaceful weekend that weekend. But yeah, so I've not gone around that many, but there are some good challenges out there. Overton, like you say, Overton, you can't put it down. That everything they do there is 100%. You know, it is a real nice course, and they're fortunate enough that I think every time I've been there, it's been in the middle of summer. I think that we had one windy day there, and on one of the open hills, it was horribly windy. Trying to shoot across the hill, and there's no way you could hold your pin still. It was hard work that day, but yeah, no, I'd always go. Pentref is kind of one of my favourites, although I've not been there for years now. Oh, Dylan's yawning again. Oh,
Still
poor
yawning.
baby.
Same recording session, sorry.
Chad, take it over.
Right, okay, let's start with the hardest course that I've shot. Is a toss-up between two European courses. One that I think you've shot both of them for Pro Series, Mullenbourne and Esch.
Yeah. Oh, Esch.
Luxembourg. Esch Alazet.
Did I go to Esch?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I did. I don't think I've been to Luxembourg. No.
So yeah, we did Esch as part of the Five Nations, which is 5 shoots throughout Europe.
In 5 different nations.
Yeah, Belgium, France, Germany, Netherlands, and Luxembourg. We did 3. We did Vertu, Fort Van Leer, and Esch.
Fort Van Leer, I've done that one.
Yeah, Fort Van Leer was a very nice course. They've lost that course, so this year it's in a different place. Yeah, they've lost the fort.
When we went to Fort Van Leer, it was a stupidly hot weekend, and for one of the targets, you walked across one of the old roofs, and it was like a tar roof, and it was that hot. The tar was melting, and they ended up having to direct you round it so that you didn't get stuck to the tar.
Yeah, where Esch is also probably one of the prettiest courses I've been to. It's not hard to get around, but considering they've got 60 metre downhill shots that you're shooting off 52 metres because of the cut, you're basically pointing your bow at your feet and trying not to shoot yourself. The grounds are absolutely lovely. We went. Tom Duncan took me out to Mullenbourne for a Pro Series, not Pro Series shoot after the Pro Series had stopped after COVID, and that was. I thought Overton and Pentref were hard to get around sometimes, like with the hills that they've got. Mullenbourne's just on another level. You're in the German mountains in the Black Forest, I think, and it's just stupid.
You mean fun?
You're trying to go around Mullenbourne at Tom Duncan speed as well. It's just
mountain goat.
Yeah, you're following a mountain goat.
And another one that I remember from Fort Van Leer is they had a few shots where you had a walkway underneath where people were shooting across over the top. It was safe enough, but it was good to do. It was just an interesting one because you don't get it. It must be really hard on the safety, but they managed it.
Yeah, they tend to do the nice easy shot above the tea tent. So it's a shot that you'll make every day of the week, but because it's over the tea tent, you start getting the jitters because you can hear people, you can see people out the corner of your eyes. I don't want to shoot them. You're never going to shoot them, but your brain starts ticking, and then you start shooting 4s, which is never fun.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's going to be me this weekend at Dearne.
as for like the score, Dearne's the first place I ever shot 400 at. So that Dearne always holds a special place in my heart for not only get my first 400 there, but get my best 400s there. I think I've got 412.
Nice.
I think I came out there with an 8, something in the teens, maybe an 8:15 for a 2-day shoot, which is a PB for me. So I've done that at Dearne. Again, lovely woods. Part of it's used for paintballing. So, yeah.
Nice.
Unfortunately, we're losing a lot of the good ones in England.
Why is that? Because I know you can only get so the All British, for example, and there's many controversial questions about this. Is it fills up so quickly? It is nuts to speed. It was like the National Indoors a couple of years back where you had to be ready to click the complete button before it came up.
Yeah.
I'm on the waiting list for it, and Lord knows whether they're going to be able to change something, do something to get more people on it. I know they were looking at options and trying to work something out. It's never easy, so it is what it is, if I can or can't. But yeah, you go to other field shoots and there's always space on a lot of field shoots nowadays, isn't there?
Yeah, so I think the problem we've got at the moment, there are two places in Britain. I don't know about Scotland because I don't know many clubs in Scotland. But definitely on the mainland, so England and Wales, there's 2 clubs, Overton and Pentref, that have got enough space to put 2 clubs on. Overton managed, not 2 clubs, 2 courses. So what you normally have is 2 courses, one for the sighted, one for the unsighted, and you'd run it all on the one weekend.
Yeah. Isn't Exmouth big enough? I don't know if they've changed grounds. It is Exmouth hosting the All British this year, isn't it?
It's Exmouth, yeah. It's just down the road from where their target ground is, if you remember where their target ground is.
Didn't they used to have enough? I'd heard. I've never shot at Exmouth, but they had enough space to run something like 4 courses at one point.
If they did, it's before I ever went down there. The place they've got now, it's a nice size, but it's a nice size for a 24 target course.
Right. Okay.
But then you also have to factor in enough field party to run 2 courses. So you're basically putting on 2 shoots on a weekend rather than 1 shoot on a weekend. So you've got to have work party that run on both courses. You've got to have judges that run on both courses. You've got to have enough waiting area. Raven was the best one that I ever went to, which we've again another one that we've lost that was down on the south coast. Had enough for, I think they had 3 courses and they all intersected at the tea tent. So the way that they'd laid them out, you always ended up looping back around the same tea tent.
That's cool.
A lot of EFA courses you find are either one loop of 14 that you do twice, or one loop of 28, and once you go out onto the course, you don't come back. Whereas a lot of WA are 3 loops of 8, 2 loops of 12, so that you always come in to the tea tent. You can have your toilet breaks, you can have your lunch breaks, somewhere nice to sit and have food. Whereas a lot of the EFA ones, you're out for the day, you take your stuff in your bag, you carry it around, and at some point you'll just sit down and eat.
Yeah. But I mean, so the basics of it are really is the helpers and the volunteers and that to run the shoot, and it sounds like it needs, whether it needs a push to get volunteers, whether it needs people to understand the benefits, because I mean these shoots, as much as we love going and shooting them, they do bring money into clubs to help reduce their membership costs and their running costs, and a lot of clubs rely on the shoots to be run. But then I know when I've shot for Meriden and stuff, trying to find helpers all the time is hard work. My club now only run 2 indoor shoots because we haven't really got the facility outside. But it's trying to get the helpers all through the year to to run these things. It is hard work.
If you look at the Lilleshall shoots for Target, the British Target Champs and the Masters and any kind of national series tour that they have at Lilleshall, and the amount of people that they can host there with the targets that they've got, they have a pool of volunteers that they can pull from. The problem is you can't pull from that pool and then send them to Exmouth.
Yeah.
Or send them around. It's a lot harder logistically to send around the country. And field shooting, we haven't got a national ground. We haven't got a national field course.
Yeah.
So if you look at Lilleshall and think of that as our national target shoot, that's the place where all of our, like the British Target Champs, the Masters, the big national shoots take place at Lilleshall. We haven't got somewhere similar that hosts field shoots.
Yeah.
There's no centralised ground. It's always relying on a volunteer club to step up and take the mantle of running the British Field Champs for that year.
Yeah, and a lot of the clubs are what I call aging out. So their memberships are getting older. They're not taking in younger members. And in a few years, the few volunteers that they've got will be aged out of actually being able to help them, and we'll lose them as well.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, it's a shame. And I mean, I know I've shot at clubs and I've known clubs where they're very, they've got the blinkers on to target, and that's it. It's just about target, and it's like being Archery GB, being World Archery. We do fall under that one of, we do have a lot of target shoots, yes, but we're still field archers. The 3D world in the UK is growing much to what it is like in the rest of Europe, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's trying to diversify across all these categories. And the one I've always said, and the reason me and Chad used to go shoot, was one helps the other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
all archers should help all archers.
Score with bad footing, up a hill, down a hill. You do that for a couple of weeks, and then you go and shoot at Lilleshall on a flat field. That 50 metres seems really easy. Everything's flat. You're nice and comfortable. You haven't got to walk up and down hills to go and get your arrows back. You've got all the energy in the world, and all of a sudden you're just putting arrows in the middle, putting arrows in the middle, putting arrows in it.
There's a tent behind you full of snacks and sugary drinks.
Yeah.
You have to carry them on your back.
I'm pretty sure it was Ravo in my second year of doing tournaments of going, we're going to Pentref, you're going to love it. Pentref was my first ever field shoot. Third target in, I shot the wrong column on a bunny, got laughed at, and then 3 targets from the end, dickhead here, shot the wrong target.
And got laughed at.
Yes.
It wasn't the first time, won't be the last time. Right.
Touch wood. I've never missed like that. I've only missed when I've completely misjudged a target and put in the wood beneath it. And that was Overden.
Yeah.
You're saying about putting it in the... I shot... where did I shoot? Canada Lakes, I think it was. So the early Pro Series. My first Pro Series. Shooting a nice steep uphill shot. Shot it slightly high. Managed to put it in the wood of the foam frame. And it's like I was, that far, a centimetre off the pin high, and it put it through the wood frame at the back. And fortunately for me, I got my Leatherman with me and looked at it, just sawed out a little bit of wood, took the chunk out, pulled an arrow out. That was quite nice. But, yeah. I remember going to Mullenbourne, and I got halfway around the day, and there was an arrow through the target and into a tree at the back. And it was like, oh my God, how's someone managed to do that? Turned out the course organisers had started with the face in front of the tree. And as people hit the tree, they went, this isn't right. Everyone's going to hit this tree. Let's put the face on the other side that hasn't got a tree there. Anyway, Con, Last part.
What's last part?
What other field shoots have you got planned for the year?
British field champs.
Dylan, we've not heard you for a while much. Go for it. What have you got planned in the ways of field this year?
I managed to get into the British field champs because I was online for 7 o'clock, unlike some people who forgot that it was live that day. Revo. Other than that, I want to do a little bit of EFA, hopefully. I enjoy the classification shoot that I did at Merlin, so I'll do that again at some point whenever there's time. Nothing else booked. I think we've all inquired about Sunset for their WA weekend.
Yeah.
So we're going to need to do a bigger plug for this one because Sunset are doing the Sunset used to be mainly an EFA course, didn't they?
Yeah, predominantly it's an EFA club. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but they're coming back and doing some WA shoots this year. One of those is on the 23rd and 24th of August, and we started looking at. I got the suggestion about it. Someone pointed it out, said go and inquire about this, and apparently they're trying to organise something of a big weekend for a field shoot, like I said, 23rd, 24th of August. But go to their website, do a search for Sunset Archers, register your interest if you fancy going and doing another field shoot, and let's see what they're doing. They seem quite enthusiastic about it.
Yeah, it's. I was to say, moving from I think it was Susan Corliss was saying it's one of the hillier EFA courses. It's apparently quite challenging in some aspects for up and down shot placement. So seeing WA course maybe overlapping that would be quite good.
But it's a lot of you'll go around the country and a lot of EFA clubs are flat. Let's put it kindly. And it'll just be like a nice leisurely stroll around the woods and shoot 3 hours. If you ever go to Sunset, take your walking boots, take a stool, because you will need to sit down. They've got a 14 target course for EFA, and they got the permission to use a lot more of the ground elsewhere that they can then put an unmarked WA 12 targets on. So you'll use 12 targets of the EFA course and 12 new targets for the unmarked.
Yes. Chad, what have you got planned for your field this year?
I'm booked into the All British. Next week, I will hopefully be re-upping my EFA membership because money's been a bit slack at the moment. So that will get me back onto the weekends that we don't have shoots on. We then just go onto the EFAA website, fill up that weekend with a Sunday shoot around the field course. We are trying to do a lot more target this year because we're both kind of coming back from target panic. And the only way to get over target panic is to charge at it like the Kool-Aid guy and go straight through the wall.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so I don't know because Exmouth are doing the All British. I'm not sure whether they're putting their normal shoot on, and their normal shoot is end of the year, so October. It's normally the last shoot of the year. If they're putting that on, we'll go down and do that again as well. She wants to go and do the English Champs, which is Overton, I believe. So there's a possibility of us going to Overton. We thought we was booked into a Pentref shoot, but that's this weekend, the same weekend as Dearne, and we're doing Dearne, so we're not doing that one. We'll do another Pentref at some point if they put one on. Yeah, that's about it for us at the moment, unless something else comes up.
Revo, what are you doing?
For me and field this year, I've let my EFA membership lapse, which I'm really sad about. but at the moment my son's playing rugby on a Sunday morning, so I've not got the time to go and do any EFA shoots. I'm up to Dearne this weekend. Hopefully this goes out before this weekend, so it makes sense. But yeah, going up to have a player field there. I'm not in the All British. Sad. I'm on the waiting list. Let's see how that works out. But yeah, I've not actually got any field booked up yet. I think I've seen stuff. I might be up for the English champs if that doesn't conflict with anything. But yeah, I'll just be keeping an eye out and see how far away stuff is and how much I need to travel to stuff, and try not to fill too many of my weekends. But yeah, I'd be definitely interested in getting a few more field shoots done. I thought about doing the Five Nations this year, and I looked at it, and unfortunately there's a lot of the Five Nations shoots that conflict with other things that I'm doing, so it's not really worth it, viable, possible. So yeah, I'll be, as much as every year I try and do a few more field shoots, every year I come away with a load of target shoots, not many field shoots, and yeah.
Best laid plans and all that never
Pretty much
come off. Yeah.
So
yeah, I think that's a nice natural end of the episode, because we've talked about everything that we have to talk about. So, Chad, where can we find you?
Kids.
Chad's gone into Tourette's mode.
Yes.
Chad, we can find you on Instagram at
Carl720X10. Facebook, Carl the Chad Richards, Mybo Prosta.
Anywhere else?
No.
Anywhere else is a lie.
Yeah, it's not me.
Where can we find you?
Not me.
You can find me, Adam Ravenscroft, on lots of target shoots. Not many field shoots this year. But you can find me on Facebook at Archery Ravo. You can find me on Instagram, but work harder to find that one. I post most stuff on Facebook on my athlete profile. So Archery Ravo on Facebook. Do the search. I hope it's all up to date. Dylan, how many underscores have we got this week?
Same amount as every week. You can find me at Crow with the Bow Archery 2 on Instagram. The first one got hacked. Every single word has an underscore between it, because why not? Facebook at Dylan Crow Archery, Crow with a Bow. And you can find us, Bows and Beers Media, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, RSS, TikTok, and Patreon. Every little helps. It costs a lot to run podcasts. It's not great. Make sure you like and subscribe and share and give us your feedback. If it's nice, if it's not, text us. Private message someone on Bows and Beers. We'll probably get back to you. We might not. Depends how nice you're being.
Perhaps we need to do the like and subscribe at the beginning of the episode, just in case people can't be bothered to listen to the end.
Yeah, if you're listening now, like and subscribe. If you're not, well, you're not, so... oh well. We'll do that next episode, I suppose. Bit late. Thank you all very much for listening, and we'll see you on the